Merle on the move, got the flow so smooth. Spitting rhymes on the podcast, got nothing to prove. He's the host with the most, dropping knowledge every week. From the underground to the mainstream, making the street speak. Step on the stage, Merle grabs the microphone, holding it down, he's in the league of his own. Interviews with the legends, the up-and-coming stars. No topic off limits, pushing the bars. Merle on the move, taking over the game. Keeping it real, never fake, never the tame. Hip-hop podcast, bringing the heat. With Merle on the mic, grooving to the beat.
Welcome to the Merle on the Move Show. All right, everybody, on this episode, I want to get right to it. And first of all, I want to thank and welcome all my new subscribers. I started this journey on YouTube a little over a year ago. And at the time, I had probably 10 subscribers. And I remember I got up to 30. And now I'm on the road to almost to 400, on the road to 500. So, and the goal is to get to 1,000. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, and the way to get there is make sure you subscribe to this video. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you know when another episode is popping up. And make sure you comment, let me know what you think about the episode. That way to keep the algorithm going and keep people tuning in. Anyway, keep giving me this dope content. This is Merle on the Move. You know what it is. I'm here every evening in the weekend, Saturday evenings when I get it popping. And on tonight's episode, what I'm gonna get going on, and you see, I got a lot of things. I've got a contest I'm gonna be talking about later on. You'll see the logo up here in the corner. You know what I'm saying? It may be over there. It may be over there. Yep, every week it's gonna be in different locations. See my little photos in the back, and I'll be talking about that contest soon. But be on the lookout. It'll be a little Easter egg. That logo will be popping up different areas. That MOTM, that Merle on the Move logo. Y'all see it. Y'all know what it is. But on tonight's show, we'll be talking about celebrity influences. We got a election coming up in November, and we had a debate going on, so I'm gonna talk about that. But let's talk about celebrity influence in voting. We're going to discuss economics, also the trickle-down effect. The trickle-down effect is connected to Ronald Reagan, Reaganomics, so we'll talk about that a little bit also. The trickle-down effect does not work. Big government cuts all social programs, food stamps, unemployment offices, social programs, social security offices, workers in the DMV work offices. All these programs have been cut as a result of economics and the trickle-down effect. And now every year we are almost forced with a government shutdown. Got another one coming up real quick in October. If the government don't come up with a budget, they're gonna shut down the federal government. So welcome to the program. Like I said, tonight we're gonna get it going. You know what it is. I got some clips, some YouTube clips also I'm gonna be showing in the program. But let's get started with sports. You know what it is. And I do have I have a little footage up here. I got some scores put up here. Iowa State didn't play this week, so it's no Iowa State football. It Iowa played. I didn't get the score on Iowa. I guess it is up here, right? I can probably pull it up here real quick. If you want to get the Iowa score. It was some good college games. Colorado won. Deion won. If you're not a fan of Deion, I'm sorry. I like Deion, and they won today. It was a good game. It's Colorado against Colorado State, and it was a. I'm not gonna say it was a redemption game because they beat them last year too, but it was a good game last year. Went to double overtime. This game, it didn't go to double overtime. They blew him out. Deion them looked really good. His team, Shador looked good. He had no sacks. Really great game. I enjoyed it. It was on CBS. It was a late game. Uh, so I checked that out. But tomorrow's the NFL. NFL football is back. It was a great week of football. My Rams lost to the Lions on Sunday Night Football. Not happy about that. I got the Rams hat on today, but I'm okay because I'm not expecting much from the Rams this year. But football's bad. I'm glad about that. The Cowboys won. I don't care, but they won. I didn't watch the game, but I guess they look pretty good. So shout out to the Cowboys. They got a big game coming up tomorrow. It's the early game at 12 o'clock tomorrow. The Cowboys are playing the Saints. And the Saints whooped up on the Carolina Panthers last week. I mean, whooped them up like 44 points or something like that. Kamara looked good, Carr looked good. So Cowboys got something, I guess we're gonna see. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Y'all beat the Saints. Y'all beat them. If it's not a close game, y'all really put them down. Okay, we'll see. That got that new contract. Jerry Jones paying his people. So we're gonna see what's going on with those Cowboys. My Rams are playing the Phoenix Cardinals. So that's a good game for us because the Cardinals used to be. I give you a little history on the Cardinals. Cardinals used to be in St. Louis. So the Cardinals started off in Ohio, then they moved to Chicago in the early 1900s, and it was the Bears and had the Cardinals, and then so they had two teams in Chicago, and then they moved to St. Louis and played in Busch Stadium, and we never liked them. We never liked the Big Wheels because they didn't really invest in St. Louis. They was just there playing, and they ended up going to Phoenix, and now they're the Phoenix Cardinals, and they like them out there. So shout out to them. We have the Rams. We have no football team in St. Louis now. I swear, it's the area I'm from. So I still support the Rams in the hat. But football's back. I'm glad about that. So we'll be rocking it out. Green Bay's playing. I think the Colts. I don't know if the quarterback's playing or not. Tyreek Hill was arrested, not arrested, detained on his way to the stadium over the weekend to the Jacksonville game. I think it was in Miami actually, but on the way to the stadium. That's footage on YouTube. Everybody's looking at that. You can say both was wrong, but cop got to be a cop. You got to maintain control. Pedestrian citizens going to act unruly sometimes. Doesn't make it right. But the way they treated Tyreek Hill, if he was somebody else, he probably would have been shot and definitely went to jail if he wasn't Tyreek Hill. So he got off, you know, pretty easy. Also, before I get into sports, let me get also, I'm gonna talk about politics, right? I'm gonna get into politics, and what I'm gonna get into debate. I'm gonna get into the debate. I'm gonna get into debate. I'm talking about them cats and dogs when I get into the debate. Cats and dogs, and like I said, I'm gonna talk about Reaganomics. But back to the sports. Canelo fight fought tonight, and I can't remember the guy's name. It's pulled up here. It's UFC pulled up here on my computer. But I watched the fight. You can try. I put some video on Snap. You can check it out. Good fight. Canelo won. Spoiler. With 12 rounds. Uh, it's pay per view. If you didn't watch it, you're not gonna watch it anytime soon. But if you do have, like me, I have a Fire Stick. So my Fire Stick, I watch all pay per view fights. I see all the. I got the NFL Red Zone. I watch all the pay per view movies, series. I got all the channels. All the, you know. But if you're interested, get like your boy Merle, get you some entertainment. But back to what I want to talk about. I was talking about Canelo, UFC fight. It was the women. I can't remember the names. The women in the UFC fight was really good. Try to see if you can see some of that footage. Bloody. I think it was instant or headbutt. Great fight. Those women were going at it. The last fight in the UFC, the big fight was really good. The Canelo fight was really good too. It's going back and forth. Let me go ahead and move over to this entertainment a little bit because I'm gonna talk about the Kendrick Lamar and the Super Bowl. Am I mad? I had a heated debate with my cousin Silla, and because he made a post on social media, and I'm the type person, if I know you and I know your number, if I'm gonna say something to you, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna contact you, I'm gonna reach out to you because I don't believe in just because sometimes people misinterpret what you put in text. They read it different than what maybe you put it where you meant it. So I wanted to call him because he made a comment about Jay-Z and the Lil Wayne thing. And I think a lot of people were emotional when it came to the Lil Wayne thing. And I agree. I was a little emotional because I feel like, yeah, New Orleans, Wayne, it'd be dope. Wayne is a big football um, uh, fan. He likes the NFL. And it'd be dope for him to perform. But taking the emotion out of it as a business uh, stand. No, not Lil Wayne shouldn't be the headliner. It should be Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick Lamar has an album out. He has the hottest song out. He is a iTunes Apple Music artist. Yeah, it should be. Silla didn't feel that way. Me and him went back and forth. He still didn't see my point of view. But my point of view is that Wayne does not have a current album out right now. He's got some features, he got some nice songs. And that doesn't guarantee him the Super Bowl. And he even said that himself. He even said himself that he didn't put himself in position to be, so it would be no question. It'd be like they're giving it to him because it's in New Orleans. And he understood that. Yeah, it hurt his feelings. But I think a lot of people coming out speaking above it, speaking about it, or speaking against Jay-Z, like him and Wayne have a good relationship. There's videos on YouTube about it. People talking about the relationship between Wayne and Jay-Z. This is good. I'm not picking a side. I like Jay-Z. I like Wayne. I like Kendrick. I'm glad Kendrick's doing it. He's gonna be nominated for some Grammys. The Grammys right before the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is February 9th, 2025. I'm okay with Kendrick doing it. The thing is now people saying, oh, so if Kendrick's doing it, who knows he might bring Lil Wayne out. He is not finna bring Lil Wayne out. I don't know. Charlemagne was saying this. I don't know if he was just commenting. I don't think so. Inside thing because he ain't cool with Drake. But speculation is that Drake's been talking about some cease and desist because he's been known in the past to send cease and desist to certain artists, Prince Montana, Rick Ross, about songs. So, and it would be kind of bad for him to do that. Did not like a song, but if he does the whole full song, he might not do the full song. He might just do the beat and a little bit of it because it would be pretty bad, especially after him and J. Cole did that song, with the reference "Big as the Super Bowl" that started all this stuff, right? First person shooter is the name of the song. Go listen to it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Him and they said they, big at the Super Bowl. Now Kendrick gonna be at the Super Bowl headlining. Drake ain't never did that. So no, he's not gonna bring Lil Wayne out to be too awkward. I believe he's gonna bring some New Orleans artists out. No disrespect to Cash Money, but they won't be part of it. Now Birdman did a whole thing about it. But I'm gonna move on past that. Y'all can look past that. Because other things I want to talk about. Movies coming out, TV shows. I'm watching that Kevin Hart's another episode of that. Power's another episode of that. Both great episodes. I like the way Power's going. And I like that new Kevin Hart series, Fight Night. And check that out if you like. Movies. I still haven't seen the Beetlejuice movie. So can't tell you much about it yet. But Holly Berry's in the movie. Her and Angelina Jolie are doing something together. It's a thriller. It's coming out, and it's another movie coming out called Megatropolis, something like that. Looks very interesting. It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie, and it's about I think like AI in the future, and it's kind of based on like a Caesar Roman style, but futuristic. Really deep. Got a lot of actors, a lot of big names in it. So I'm interested in that coming out, and like I said, Venom's coming out. Let's move on to. I'm gonna play a clip, actually, and like I did last week, and because I want to talk about Reaganomics, and I know last week when I was on the show, last week on the show, last week on the show, I talked about, or maybe the 2 weeks ago, I talked about how inflation has us in a broke state, has us in a state of paying more for the normal things that we pay. And it's a reason for that. It's not Biden, it's not the Democrats, it's not the liberals. It's a reason. It's an actual reason why we're in this state. And it's a video I'm gonna play. Here it is here. So it's a video I'm gonna play about Reaganomics. And it's from uh, History Channel, I believe. Yeah, I believe some History Channel. I'm gonna play that and I'm gonna explain Reaganomics a little bit, then I'm gonna play it. And this is how it connects to this Reaganomics. Then I'm gonna get to the debate, but this is how it connects to this inflation. So in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, the wealth gap in America wasn't that big. For minorities it was. For black people it was big, but for the middle class and the top 1%, the gap wasn't. It was like a 10% gap, or maybe even a 3% gap. It wasn't big, but it was still a big gap. And so if you can get to middle class, and then the annual income in the 70s, the middle class was around 40 to 60,000. 40 being the low, and like 60 to 80,000 was like the high for the middle class, right? I was like, a decent living wage. You have the upper middle classes like in the 100,000s, stuff like that. But if you worked at a factory or something like that, that was a decent wage in the 70s. I remember things were cheap in the 70s. And when Reagan took over in the 80s, he cut a lot of the taxes for the wealthy, and he cut a lot of the social programs. Like he cut food stamps, he closed a lot of government offices and a lot of housing programs, a lot of uh, lunch programs for kids. A lot of programs got cut, and that money w- transferred to the rich because they got cuts too. And the idea in Reaganomics was that if the wealthy had more money and the businesses were doing more, they would hire more people, would bring more people out of poverty, and it'd be a trickle down effect because those people would have more money and they would put more money in the economy, shopping, cars, businesses, and things like that, right? Be growth. And that didn't happen because of hoarding. So when the rich got richer, instead of them to owning one property and maybe one or two cars, now they're owning three, four, and five properties and owning 10 and 12 and 13 cars themselves. They're not spreading that wealth. They're not hiring, right? They're trying to find ways, matter of fact, to do lean manufacturing, to have less output and more input. They don't want a big workforce because that's where most of your profit is going. Most business profit goes to the workforce and ensuring the workforce, not the product itself. So if you can find a way to create more product and have a less labor force and less paying, like shipping jobs overseas, save more money. So that's what happened. But it took time for that to happen. It didn't happen, and they warned Reagan about this. It took time for that to happen. And a lot of things happened during Reagan's 8 years in office, and because of that, and the other presidents after Reagan, they tried to follow that model because President Reagan had like a 70 or 68% approval rate. Like a lot of the people in the country like Reagan. Now during Reagan, doing those in the 80s and 84 and 85, the Contras and crack and all that was going on. A lot of stuff in the country was going on then. Uh, and then ingenuity and some good things happen too. So, but that's what Reaganomics is, and because of that, inflation and price, and then you got economics and people going to school and learning how to ways to manipulate it. This is where we're at. So, I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna let y'all check that out. Now, if you can't hear this, like I said, I'll post the whole video here on the clip. Here you go.
Economic policies of Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States of America. We're going to take a look at the economic policy that still affects your paycheck to this day. When Ronald Reagan was elected to be the 40th President of the United States in 1980, the nation's economy had been in a state of great inflation since 1965. The decade leading up to Reagan's presidency was characterized by something called stagflation, where prices were rising even as unemployment remained high and economic growth was slow or stalled. This not only damaged the U.S. economy, but economies around the world. Reagan's solution was an economic plan that became to be known by his supporters and critics alike as Reaganomics. Reaganomics was heavily based on the trickle-down theory. This argues that if you lower costs for corporations by cutting their taxes, businesses use those savings to invest. The thinking was more money for corporations would mean more jobs and higher wages for workers and thus increased spending. But trickle-down is a controversial idea. Opponents argue that when corporate taxes are cut, domestic social programs suffer. And most likely only a small handful of rich individuals at the top become even richer. Reaganomics wasn't just about tax cuts. The policy had three other central points: deregulating businesses, turning government services over to private contractors, and decreasing spending on domestic social programs, including food stamps, Social Security, and disability insurance. During his presidency, Reagan signed two tax bills into law, one in 1981 and the other in 1986. As a combined result of the 1981 and 1986 bills, the top income tax rate was slashed from 70 to 28%. The lowest income tax rates for the rich since the 1920s. Reagan's policies were highly debated, and economists still argue about the pros and cons of Reaganomics in terms of both immediate and lasting effects. Proponents argue that by 1983, the nation's economy had started to recover from stagflation. This led to a period of economic prosperity that continued through the rest of Reagan's presidency, though another recession soon followed after he left office. But critics argue that based on a normal economic cycle, the economy would have recovered from the recession on its own without Reaganomics. Critics also point out that Reaganomics led to larger, not smaller, budget deficits and a larger national debt. Many people say Reagan giving corporate tax cuts while cutting funding for domestic social programs was a policy that favored the rich and led to increased wealth inequality. While Republicans tend to reference Reaganomics as exemplary policies, Democrats almost always bring it up as an example of corporate greed that hurts the middle and working classes. Either way, it remains a defining part of Ronald Reagan's presidency and legacy.
Okay, so that was the video. So hope you guys got to hear that and then watch this video. So it's basically saying what I was saying before, and that leads me into the debate where we're at right now. 2024, going to have a new president in 2025. Each candidate is pushing the same agenda. Nobody's talking about really uh, changing the format on taxes or policy. And that's what everybody was looking for when we was watching the debate. We were looking for policy, right? We were looking for something that could we could sink our teeth into. And Trump just told a bunch of lies, and he talked about the border, and he talked about immigration, and he talked about it in a weird way. He didn't talk about it in policy terms. He didn't talk about it like he had a plan. He didn't talk about it in factual, tangible things that normal people could understand. He talked about it in disparaging, racial slurs, denigrating a race of people like they're not human and saying, "Get rid of them, throw them away," basically. He wasn't saying, "Let's change and fix things." He was saying, "Get rid of them," you know? So, undesirables, that's how he's trying to label these people. And based on the way our country is right now, we look for inspiration from the people we like a Taylor Swift, like a Pat Mahomes or Travis Kelce or a Beyonce, right? Or Hulk Hogan, Elon Musk, right? So politicians feel, well, if I can get a person that people like to stand next to me, even if they don't understand my message, but they like me enough to stand next to me, then the people that like them will also. And how is that even real? But it makes sense because kids are very impressionable. When I was a child, I was very impressionable when it came to Public Enemy and Chuck D. His political views and about Nation of Islam and Minister Louis Farrakhan and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I understood and learned about who those people were because of Chuck D and Public Enemy, and I have grew to have a lot of respect for them because of that. So his music did impact me in my upbringing. So music is very strong, and those politicians and those celebrities do have an impact, whether you like it or not. So for you to tell LeBron James to shut up and dribble, or to tell a Taylor Swift, as I heard Jenny Shapiro, she's a judge and she has a talk show and a radio show, a podcast, I think. Uh, she's real out there. I don't know if she's MAGA or not, but she said Taylor Swift shut up and sing. But you got The Rock. She was saying that The Rock with his endorsement, she was like, "Yeah, you can do it." So when the celebrities is on your side, it's okay. When the celebrity is against what you're saying, they're bad. And that's the tale of two Americas I was saying on a couple shows before. You can check that out. There should be a link up here. I may post up here for that episode, Tale of Two Americas, where if you're not a conservative or if you're not a Republican or if you're not MAGA, you're an enemy. You're not American. You're less than. If you're liberal or you're a Democrat, you're bad. Like in the debate, Trump was saying that the Democrats want to kill the babies, want to kill babies at 9 months. The Dems want to do these things. The Democrats want to let illegal aliens, immigrants, not aliens, illegal immigrants, take over cities and do these things. He's saying the Democrats, not certain groups of people or not a person, the government, a certain section of the government. So let's get into the cat and dog. Now I watched. Now I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna tell you the truth now. What I'm gonna tell you is the truth because I do my research. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, but I do make great Kool-Aid that I do drink myself. So that being said, I watched the debate. I heard the story about the cats and dogs on the Breakfast Club before the debate. So I heard about somebody talking about it was a guy, it was a YouTuber, and he was in front of the city council of Springfield, Ohio, and he was talking about some ducks. He wasn't even talking about dogs. He was talking about some ducks or some geese that was in the pond. And he said that it was some Haitian immigrants that had the ducks and chopped their heads off and was drilling them up. Now he had no pictures, he had no video. Nobody had any pictures or videos of any of this, but they were saying they had like 6 people come up and talk and said that these heads of these animals was by the buildings and was blood everywhere and all that. But there's no video, just people talking, just witness statements, no videos, no pictures, no nothing. It's just people talking, right? And then the city engineer, attorney, or whatever, representative said that these stories are fake. They haven't had any credible information on it. So I watched 6 or 7 different videos talking about this town, right? And these YouTubers coming in with newscaster T-shirts on, like they with reporters, and they're not really reporters, but they're going through the neighborhood. So in Venice, in Aurora and stuff like that. But basically, it's nothing going on. It was false news. It was fake news. Uh, no evidence of any of this stuff happening. It's a shame that this city has to come out and explain these things. It's a shame. So now it's all kind of memes going on social media. We can talk about people eating dogs, eating cats. It is countries in the world that do eat people's pets. I don't know pets, eat the other animals, dogs and cats. But nobody's stealing people's pets and eating them. Now it might be a story that pop out now because just like the Tide Pods when that came out, people was doing it. But it was fake news. So this guy's saying that this guy wants to be president. He's putting lies out. JD Vance, his running mate, even said when he first that's where Trump got it from. And when he first put out the story, JD Vance said it was a rumor. He said this is a rumor, but and now they're going with it. And now people around you are trying to convince you. People that like Trump is trying to convince you that he's not crazy. He's scared of Kamala. Now he don't want to debate again. He don't want to debate again. He said he don't want to do it. He said he won. He said he had 72% of the polls said he won, 80%, 90%, 60%. He didn't win, bro. You was talking crazy. You talking outside of your neck. Now, what did she do good? She baited him. She made him look crazy. Did she say anything about policy? She said some things. She's talking about she's going to do something for families, some kind of opportunities or something like that. I don't know how you apply for it, but I did see this. One of the plans for the taxes. Donald Trump saying on family on the child tax credit that he wants to give everybody $5,000. Everybody, no matter how much money you make, regardless how many kids you got, he wants to give. Now, this is what he's saying. 5,000. That's like Trump giving the stimmy checks. That's why a lot of people want to vote for Trump because they getting stimmy checks. But Trump is saying, I seen this on the news. He want to get everybody 5,000. Kamala want to give some people 3,600. Right? If you got one child, if you read the certain income guideline, I think it's like under 60,000 or 70,000, something like that. And if you got a child that's under 1 year old, you get another little bump, so you can get up to like 40 some 4,000, 4,600 or something like that. But it's still less than what Trump is giving. And she got stipulations. You might not qualify. If Kamala get it, her child tax credit, some people qualify, some people won't. With Donald Trump's child tax credit, it seems like the way he's saying it that everybody can get the $5,000. It, that's gonna be a win. That's, give it to me. Give it to me. That's gonna be a win right there. You know that's gonna be a win. They going for that. They going for that, baby. They going for that. how Trump gonna get them. Money. Everybody like money. And people may say things when they go in that booth, but that don't mean he gonna do it. That don't mean he gonna do it. And the way that this the wealth gap is going, something we gotta do better than this. The inflation. So yeah, that's where we at with that. I don't know. The debate was crazy. I learned something about Kamala. I think she's strong. I like how she walked up to him and made him shake her hand. I thought that was dope. Uh, she stood on business. She stood on business when she came to that, and she baited him. She baited him. She made him look very unpresidential. It's no way he can represent us in this country. He didn't answer none of the stuff on Ukraine stuff. He was like, he talking about he want the war to be over. But you didn't say you want Ukraine to win or you want uh, Russia to win. You didn't say. You just said you wanted to be ready for it to be over. That's not